the government will be raising the minimum wage by a sharp 40% starting April the 1st, a policy that will have a significant impact on the cost of manufacturing and other service industries. The minimum wage increase is part of the populist policy of the Yingluck government, which campaigns on a 300 baht a day wage to increase the income of working Thais. At present, the minimum wage varies in different parts of the country, with Bangkok and other surrounding provinces holding the highest rate of about 230 baht per day. At 159 baht per day, the minimum wage in Phayao in north is the lowest in the country. So starting on April the 1st, Bangkok, Pathum Thani, Nonthaburi, Samut Prakan, Samut Sakhon, Nakhon Pathom, and Phuket will see the minimum wage rising to 300 baht per day. The minimum wage in other provinces will also rise at a similar rate of 40%. The Bank of Thailand, at a meeting with Monetary Policy Committee last week, expressed concern over the implementation of the minimum wage, saying that it would have an impact on rising consumer prices. 41 companies recently filed a complaint to the administrative court calling for a scrap of the minimum wage policy, which would hurt their cost. The court rejected the complaints. The Office of the SME Promotion also has come up with a study finding that the increase in the minimum wage would raise the cost of the SMEs in Bangkok, which employs 3.3 million workers, by 6.4%.
Well, let's still talk about the impact of the minimum wage, Kun Onganan, with Kun Sutapa Amornvivat, who is the Chief Economist at Siam Commercial Bank. สวัสดีค่ะ คุณ Sutapa.
สวัสดีครับ
Swadika. Well, since the minimum wage will be implemented anyway, do you see any adjustments from the industries, especially the SMEs?
We have seen a lot of concern, and we think the wage rise will be transferred into Thai economy in two ways. One is definitely would push up the price for inflation, and the other side is the adjustment from the domestic companies to increase productivity of the labor. And if that's successful in time, that would help reduce the pressure on inflation.
Okay. Well, while the SMEs are bracing for the impact, do you think that Thai industries are competitive now against the ASEAN counterparts?
So far, the wage, not the minimum. We are just talking about the minimum wage, but the wage level in general in Thailand is in the mid-range among the ASEAN counterparts, and in some ways depend on it depends on profession. But if we're talking about the unskilled labor, in Thailand we have the lowest unemployment rate in the world. So in some way, even if with the wage increase, we don't see that as an impact that would have a permanent problem on the structural employment issue.
Well, you did mention the impact of the new minimum wage to the inflation. To what extent would this affect inflation in Thailand, Kun Sutapa?
Would it definitely push up the cost, particularly for the short term. And our preliminary estimate is that CPI will rise around 0.8 to 0.1 percentage point from the baseline.
Yes.
And the baseline for the headline inflation is 3.5 to 4. So that's 0.8% extra on top of that. And generally, we actually think that it will impact the Thai economy in threefold. One is that the full employment and even the shortage of labor that we see today will not be impacted very much by the rise of the minimum wage. And secondly, many firms have planned to reduce the overtime pay, and therefore there's no need to lay off workers.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the third part is the agricultural sector, informal sector can absorb workers who are, have been adversely impacted by this.
Okay.
By this rise.
Right. So in that effect, do you think this is beneficial to the whole economy, or is it just only implemented to benefit the workers themselves?
Well, it definitely would definitely would benefit the whole economy, but it depends on what time horizon are we looking at. So if you're looking at a short term, definitely a lot of companies and entrepreneurs will suffer a higher cost, but then that will adjust in terms of increasing mechanizations or increasing productivity to match up with the rising in labor costs. So over the medium term, that would definitely be beneficial to the country as a whole. And in fact, inflationary is temporary. If the companies can adjust their productivity to match the increasing in wage, then the inflation will subside.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Kun Sutapa, for your updates with us today.
Thank you so much.